Welcome to the Psychic Soul Healer channel. My name is Laura. For those of you that are new to the channel, anything that you need to know about my giveaways, what happens here that's important, or any relevance, you can find in the description box down below, such as how to book a personal reading, subscriptions, social media stuff, and again, as I just said, anything that's even relevant to the channel. Okay, now, if you resonate with this video, you give me a thumbs up, you comment in the comment bar the word healer, and you subscribe to the channel, you can win a free psychic reading with me. I pull a raffle once a week and I see who wins, and this is just a giveaway that I like to do. The only catch is that it will be done on air, meaning that be live streamed. So you have to be open and willing for that. Some people feel funny, but it's a way that people tend to learn because this is a healer channel. And when I'm talking about healer, I specialize in healing the effects of trauma. So it's all about shadow healing and integrating the shadow aspects of self. So will I tell you about your relationship? Of course I will. Will I tell you what can happen or what will happen? Of course I will, just like every other reader. The only difference is I'm going to focus on the karmic cycles. I'm going to focus on the karmic contracts, the spiritual wounds that both of the two parties have, or if we're going after a job, the spiritual imbalances that arise when you go after a job, like what happens. Because in healing, you can't just know what you're doing or know what caused the problem. It's all about integration, because integrating the spiritual lesson means that you're grounding it. So you are able to see a different outcome of your situation. And the reason why this is important is because the person that you may be listening to this video for, you may not even want to be with this person later on. You may want to be with the person that's completely different, because as you evolve, as you heal, you evolve, and you evolve even if you don't heal, because as we get older, we learn new things, because our perception of things changes, because we're forced to do different things, like get a job, interact with different people, and that changes our focus. So understand why you want to heal is because trauma follows us, and it follows us not just within each lifetime, but within each relationship that we have. So a lot of times we're incarnated with a specific karmic theme, which are spiritual wounds. Again, the spiritual wound plays out as a karmic theme, is what I'm meaning to say. And so learning is all about understanding what did happen. It's not a blame game, but understanding where the wound came from, because you have to appease the reptilian mind, the survival part of your mind. And we said that's a logical part of the mind that's saying, I want to know certain things, so I'm not going to let go of this trauma. And the subconscious mind won't, because the subconscious is all about your survival. So if you have traumas that, happened so long ago, like when you were in childhood, and now they're playing out within your relationships today. And so to be able to integrate a spiritual lesson is, again, we have to appease the analytical mind, but then we also have to integrate it, and integrate it by, again, grounding it, so we see a different version of ourselves within a similar outcome. Again, because these spiritual and karmic lessons tend to play out as themes that replay within our life. So you may say, I always have people leave me, abandonment. You may have incarnated with abandonment. You may feel that you're always victimized, feeling like people don't treat you right? People try and take advantage of you. And when you stand up for yourself, that they, again, treat you unfairly, act as if you did something. So again, these karmic themes that we see it again. And the more times that they happen, if you aren't healed, you begin to detach. And detachment is when we're holding on to energy, again, that's negative and we've suppressed it. And then we have repressed it. And repressed means is part of my subconscious mind. My mind actually thinks that it's part of my identity now. And so then you say, well, why am I holding a certain vibration, an energy vibration from the trauma? And that's again because you haven't integrated it. So you may still hold it even after you've integrated it, but it becomes less and less and less. And in the Bible, it says what we resist persists. So it's again, it's the law of the universe. Because God is the universe. Understand that. And again, the universe is love. We all have love inside of us. So anywhere where we do not feel love, and that's where we would feel fear and anxiety, that we know that we have a spiritual block. So again, I'd always like to start my readings with just a little bit of healing the effects of trauma. So you understand how to do it. Because again, this is how you get your daily dose of spiritual nutrition. It's how you have spiritual hygiene for yourself. Okay? So Capricorn, by the way, that relates to anyone that has trauma, and not just Capricorn, just so that everybody knows, because we all have 7 main chakras that represent psychological and emotional aspects of ourselves. And so we all tend to be able to identify with certain karmic themes because we've lived them personally. And so this is where empathy and sensitivity comes, like, again, the healer knows because we identify, we've gone through it. So we can say, I know exactly. When other people may say, what's wrong with you? How come you keep dating this type person? This person keeps coming in and out of your life. What's wrong with you? Or why do you care? It's like, why are you sad? It's again, those reasons are because of healing, needing healing. Sorry about that. No control of the dog. Hopefully he will calm down. Okay, the first part out is obscurity. So whenever I see obscurity, I always feel like someone's breadcrumbing or you don't feel like you have enough of something. Here I'm actually feeling like someone doesn't feel like they have enough money. Capricorn. Again, spiritual blocks are psychological and emotional, held in the body as stress. They are what actually determines our energy frequency. Otherwise, we would be love, right? Automatically, we're born into the world of love. We have no prejudice. We have no perception one way or the other about anything. We're taught everything from the environments that we live in. Again, that's what creates our behaviorism. So, have you lived in obscurity for a long time, Capricorn? Has that been happening? And so now it's like you're just feeling like maybe you deserve it. Again, maybe there's something wrong with me. Is that what your thought is? Cruel? Are you being cruel to yourself because of the lack of abundance in your life? Now, this is a general message, so it's whatever Capricorn listens to it. So, obviously some people are going to have obscurity within relationships, and some people are going to have obscurity within money. So again, that's a first and second chakra imbalance, okay? And that's bad. And the reason why is because the first chakra is connection to the body, connection to self, connection to the physical world, connection to everyone in the physical world. And so God works through us, through gut, intuition, and knowing. He works through our environment to bring us people, situations, and experiences that are going to change your mind and your heart. So you're stuck in cruel. You're not going to be able to see a different version of yourself. If you're disconnected from your physical body, only in the now do you get divine guidance. again, the Holy Spirit works through us. Universe, if you want to call it universe. If you want to call it universe, you want to call it love, you want to call it, it's again, that magic energy. That is the supernatural energy that connects us to each other, that transforms this energy and actually can transform this energy because the universe is abundant. So if you're not seeing abundance, it's because you actually believe on some level that you are. And it could be because, again, you live that experience. Okay. Dude, that's how these wounds are created. You live an experience. But understand, we're down here in physical form to learn and to manifest, and learning that you're not separate from God. You're seeing your life through different perceptions of self. Again, and right now, this is not a good perception of self, just so that you know. Again, and maybe it's a lot because vanity means that you're afraid to find your style. You're afraid, like, again, because of what it's going to look like. Understand, everybody has an unfolding process. We just don't find it. Not what happens. It's that we create it. And we create it through fucking up a lot of times and making mistakes. That's how we know what we don't want. So again, and you can't have that energy if you're like, oh my God, how am I gonna look? Like, I gotta look perfect. There's no such thing as perfect people. There's only excellence. We shoot for excellence. Only God is perfect. No such thing as perfect. Even if you were to get a china set, you would notice that every single piece wasn't identical. That every coffee mug that came in that set did not have the same of everything. It may look like it, but it's technically impossible. Again, we can shoot for excellence. That's what we do. Become the best version of ourselves, and that is good enough. So again, Capricorn, you feeling like you're not good enough, and that's again being mean to yourself, and that was created because someone was mean to you. Someone was cruel to you. And so this is made you maybe overcompensate in this area. Maybe you're putting a lot of time and energy into your looks, into wanting to keep appearances up instead of finding yourself, becoming the best version of yourself, which is then transforming back into love because you were born as love, understand? So when you evolve back into what you were originally born from, you're shedding these behaviorisms, these habits, these conditions, these aspects that you have put on yourself to protect yourself on some level. Again, unconsciously, your mind has put them to protect you. So you gotta release attentive and repressed nature. You gotta release it. What the hell does that mean? It's like, right? There's some of these words. Well, it's again repressed nature, like your true self. Like, is your true nature of who you are is your true self. So when we repress parts of ourselves that are true, they're usually because they're seen as bad. Our mind says, oh no, they are bad. I was taught that they're bad. And so to release them is to become aware of them first, but to integrate them. Again, otherwise you're not going to see a different version of yourself. We have to look at, again, the behaviorism that was created from living in the imbalanced situation. An imbalanced situation is one wherever you just don't feel safe. You just can't be you. You just can't find yourself. Now, it's normal a lot of times when we first get into a relationship to feel this way, but it's not comfortable that you might be with someone for many, many years and feel that way. Because what happens is it means that the foundation of the relationship was weak to begin with, and it won't get stronger. When we have a crack in the foundation, all of a sudden one day you come home, there's no house. And there was no house because it crumbled to the ground. The foundation was weak. So again, diluted. And so a lot of times this is just a distortion of the mind. Again, our mind will create an experience to like, which is seeing the situation through distorted perception where it leaves out certain things. So it's almost like if you're around your a parent or a lover or someone that's very important to you, and they continually say, no, that's not, like gaslight you, say, no, no, you're taking it wrong, that you're, or you're not seeing things clearly, but your intuition is saying, but I know that this doesn't feel right. And then so, but your heart is telling you it's again because you care about this person. Well, maybe it is true. Maybe I can fix it. Maybe I can. So it's again, that's again the release attentive repressed nature because it's repressing their nature and they're supposed to become someone else. So it distorts the perception of themselves, of what they want, and again, about how other people are. Because we see people as how we are. So when people annoy us and trigger us, there's an aspect of us inside that person. So healing comes into the place of becoming aware where this is not really that, because this person is staying in a place of obscurity. Again, it feels okay, it feels right for them to just be angry and feel like they just can't have it. And I'm going to pull one more from this deck, and it's light. So to become the version of light, this is when you transform and you integrate. What you're doing is, again, we are born of love. We are love. What happens is that we go through experiences that create trauma, and these traumas create blocks and they become the dark shadow. So when we're becoming the light, what we're doing is we're integrating it. And when we're integrating it, we don't think anymore like this. And why that's important is obviously we manifest. We manifest through what we think and how we feel. So our thoughts are going to control. Remember, your body is the mind's faithful servant. I saw my father get cancer over 7 times because his mind and what he felt about himself, what he believed about the world, and then the suppression of those emotions. And when you're holding stress in the body, what we're really holding on to are thought patterns, beliefs. And you can condition your body to live a certain way. And that's why you see people that get cancer in their colon or cancer in, part of their body. I mean, the colon, my father had colon cancer at the age of 42. And it was because he didn't let go. He didn't let go. He was angry all the time, but he suppressed it because he lived with someone that was more outward angry. So, he just suppressed it and ate it and detached from himself. And so that is what happens when you then become like shadow, right? I wanted to just look at what's going on here, like again, a situation that might be happening in your life right now, Capricorn, that because this is a spiritual block and this is bad because this is going to affect your money, it's going to affect your relationships, it's going to affect everything. Because if you're like this, you're always going to get this. You can't heal it. So the goal is to become like this in order to heal this, and this. And that's through, again, grounding it. So let's look at the situation that you feel obscurity in. Ace of Pentacles. So Ace of Pentacles talks about opportunity. and it's upright. So there's opportunities here. Queen of Pentacles, stability, upright. So this wouldn't actually be with as much money as I thought. Oh, okay. Yes, because then I got a Knight of Swords, and the Knight of Swords is rushing in. So it will affect your money that there is a person, Capricorn, that is going to rush and sees you again as getting an opportunity. You're going to get an opportunity. And this opportunity is going to change you. So if you had a person in your life that has left, has chosen to not be around, again, maybe I feel like they had to make a choice between you and someone else, or again, and that, or something else, maybe not even a choice between you and someone else, but something else, and they detached, and I feel like they didn't tell you, and now here you are, you're sitting all pretty again, like Queen of Pentacles is someone that can take care of themselves, someone that is a manifester, someone that is, again, has created a very nice opportunity for themselves. Again, and possibly because this Knight was nowhere to be found. So now this Knight is coming on in. And guess what? Justice will be served. So then the reason why is because the judgment is actually like the end of a call. So it's upright. So I'm kind of feeling like someone is coming in with an apology. Someone's coming in fast. Someone's coming in. Thank God that this is upright. Like, and the Hierophant. So there's going to be a lot of healing within this situation. So I'm feeling like, and so I have a question now, and the question is why. I'm assuming that the reason why this queen is able to like look at this situation through like healer eyes is because she's sitting pretty. Because to me, it's like this person left, they had a choice. I kind of feel like they ghosted the person, and now justice. So, oh, okay. Transformation. And as I was thinking it, this is what I was thinking. So the deal is that there was obscurity because again, someone grew up around not the best situations, and again, poverty consciousness. And when we grow up poor, it's not, it's also, we have to look at the attitudes of who was raising us, the words that they chose to speak. What were their habits to deal with stress? What did they do, again, to better their lives, to better their situations? We have to look at that because cruel sometimes it means just that it was obscurity because there was trauma. And part of trauma is that we are cruel to ourselves, we abandon ourselves. The number one spiritual law is to love yourself. So what I feel is that Capricorn, you were attached to someone that kind of, again, like you had a connection. It was a great connection. This person all of a sudden disappeared. You poured the love into yourself, which then brought this opportunity, which actually was able to heal this. Because then you were able to see yourself different, right? Now, this person comes rushing in because they're seeing it and they're like, wow, and that you're able to actually heal this also, which is where, again, the person usually, again, growing up in that obscurity, you're dealing with people that are not usually very emotional, intelligent as well, because the way that we manifest is through the heart to give and receive of love. And that also means that we have to get along well with people. We have to learn how to, so if we're really insecure, we're always going to be taking things personally. So this is why I feel we got the healer card, but then when it's called the Queen of Cups, it's transformation, baby. I mean, it says it right there. Queen of Cups is all about transformation. So this is a healing story where I feel like Capricorn, you've healed. So now I want to know actually what is the connection between you and this person, and I want to see what their message is towards you, and then I'm going to close it out. I always try and keep these short, but I don't know if I know how to do that. Okay. So, the wild rose. Do it your way. Embrace your uniqueness, untamed. So, again, the process, a lot of times when we grow up in an environment, this talks about, again, taking on those people's behaviorisms, or living with someone that's very overbearing, living in a codependent relationship. These people a lot of times have a hard time letting their partner think for themselves. They have a hard time with boundaries. They have a hard time. So this is calling you. Your healing comes in continuing to, create yourself, because I feel like this person that I just saw, okay, this person is rushing back in, which means that they're not here yet. It means that you have time. And this is what's so great about getting readings, because you can shape shift your situation. You can be like, oh, well, now that I know that this person's coming in, I'm gonna act like this, right? And the way is you hold to your boundaries, create yourself, because in healing any relationship issues that you'd have, it wouldn't be, well, I have a hard time getting the guy. A lot of times I have a hard time keeping the guy or keeping the girl. Like I feel like I have an abandonment issue. And so this is saying, well, you wouldn't if you wouldn't abandon yourself. Do it your way. It's like sometimes we haven't found our style, or we tend to like watch other people the way that other people do things, and then we try to emulate them and we don't look as good as they do. So, and understand, like, finding your style and doing it your way, a lot of times that means you have to I don't know how that got in there. Oh, right there, sorry. That a lot of times you have to make mistakes, and you have to feed yourself, and you have to feed yourself by participating in life. It's not like if you're a designer, you don't just go to other fashion shows, and you go to like a lot of galleries to look at art. You go into nature, you get inspired through different people, through different environments, and you take from that every which way where you go, things that resonate with you, and you put your own twist on it, and you become yourself, and you do it your way, untamed and unapologetically. And this way, people that come into your life, there are boundaries without actually having to say, this is a boundary. You can't come here from this time to this time. It's like people won't listen to you if you do that, because you're not going to be consistent. You're going to be sometimes, well, I felt like talking to them yesterday, so they were here for 2 hours. But, now they're here every day, and they're here every day for 2 hours. That becomes a bit much. So it's, again, boundaries. When we, again, do it our way, that means that we're participating also in life. It's, again, and that you can't be in an energy of obscurity, and you would also get a lot of opportunities. And you'd also not tolerate this energy. It's cruel. Someone treats you like that, you'd be like, peace out. I don't have the time and the energy for that. So let's see what else. Get glasses, Alice. That's what I feel like. I should clean them too, but God forbid. The fertile void, inner writing, rest, patience, potency, secret, beginnings. So what this is talking about is, again, creating yourself. Creating yourself, because again, that void is emptiness, but you fill that void. problem is people tend to look for outside things to fill the void, and that's what the shadow wants you to do. Because the shadow wants instant gratification. But healing, again, is a process that takes time. So it's saying take the time to fill the void. And just again, and don't go sharing it with everybody. Again, keep it to yourself. Why? Because in this very fragile part of healing, which is the beginning stages, the people that are in your life might have a hard time with seeing any changes. Again, people associate people in their life that have been in their life with comfort, and they assign unconscious roles to these people without them knowing it. So if someone is very reliant on you to for something, right? Like maybe they be reliant on you for money or for emotional support, and now you're not going to be available to them, you're going to get resistance. They're going to say certain words, they're going to do certain things because you don't know, it may trigger their abandonment issues. So abandonment comes in the fact first when we abandon ourselves. You shouldn't have to abandon what you're doing in order to appease someone else. However, there are people in our lives that we really do care about. And once again, they're very close to us, we can't tell the difference between their energy and ours. So you don't really want to share what you're doing until you have strong enough footage again. And that might mean to share what you're doing with a completely different audience or to be interactive with a completely different group. Why? Because people already have a perception of who they believe you are. So if you're trying to build yourself through family and friends, that might be a resistance. You can't expect those people to clap a lot of times again, because then that means they have to look at themselves differently, and people tend to not like to do that. So keep that in mind. Want to look at what is the past life and what we need to look out for. Just keeps getting longer. Instead, we were closing down. Okay, action. Follow your intuition before it makes sense. See what that's saying? Only in the now do you get divine guidance. And this is what I was saying about like going out into the void. And what this is saying is to fill the void by interacting in life and taking the time to do that. And what this is saying is, and when I'm talking to you, again, your intuition says action, follow your intuition before it makes sense. Meaning, you don't want to like to logic it because you'll talk yourself out of it, especially if you have a lot of past experiences in your mind that you have experienced failure. And this is also why we're not sharing what we're doing ahead of time with anyone. We're keeping it to ourselves, so we're not getting anyone else's opinions of what they believe we should do. And we're able to really listen to ourselves. And then when we're taught, and we know that it's intuition because intuition comes on randomly and there is a call to action right after, opposed to anxiety that will keep going on and on and on, and we'll say, oh, maybe it's this, maybe it's this, but that anxiety never goes away and there's never any call to action. There's always a I don't know. So it's, again, intuition comes on randomly. So you might be taking a shower, you may be washing your hands, doing something. Understand that is how you know. I want to just say what else you may need to look out for. I'm only going to read this one, but they're stuck together. So let's see. Cracked open, rock bottom, surrender to the alchemy of life. So I feel like, again, growing up in poverty, like you already know, you crack the code of what it is. You see what you have to do in order to heal. Because that's really a lot of times you have to come from the bottom to see what you don't want, to see what doesn't work, to learn what does work. life is that way. You're getting the test first, and then you're getting the lesson. And this is why sometimes it takes many lifetimes to learn a lesson, because we just, our perception of what we thought was completely different. So I want to see what that your person, they, again, if you do have a connection, what would their message be to you? Because again, we had saw this person come rushing in because you've cracked the code and you're abundant. So, and they see this, they're like, oh, this person's like an emperor. This person actually has a lot to offer. This person, and understand this person has the same spiritual blocks that you do, but I feel like they're successful. Okay. If you could do anything, what would it be? The answer dwells in your heart, not in your mind. For the heart is the gateway to your soul. So this is again talking still about feeding yourself and keeping up on this. So this is the universe actually being like, hey, before you get a message from this dude, I just want you to know, or this woman, or whoever you're listening to, for this, whoever you're listening for, love yourself. Don't stop feeding yourself, because as soon as a person comes in, you're going to feel their emotions. They're going to want to take their time. It's again, it's going to feel great. It's going to lift your energy. All those endorphins are going to go off. But what Spirit is saying is you should be getting as many endorphins from co-creating with me as you are from this person. So, and if that person is getting more than me, then I consider that abandonment. And so understand that means you got to feed yourself more. Again, why? It's because people, again, tend to treat you the way that they treat themselves. And if you're too accessible, then what happens is just because you got the person, you want to keep the person. The difference between eating your favorite ice cream all day long, every single day, and that's the only flavor ice cream you get all day, every day, or getting just a small little bowl of ice cream at the end of the night, you know? And that's something that you look forward to, then it's like, well, it's just a small little, or that little piece of chocolate that you get at the end of the night. That's your, like, you did a great job today. And you get to look forward to it. That person should be that little piece of chocolate, not I'm here every day, like jamming it down your throat. It's again, I'm doing everything for you. Well, the person wanted me to. Yeah, because they were insecure. And once you did it, they didn't want it. Okay, healing. Imagine yourself and your beloved surrounded by light. Feel your relationship being healed this very moment. So it's again, this is talking again about the healing of this energy of the family karma of, again, what you were taught, or whether it was the environment that you grew up in, that you got the trauma in, that you're both healing. Because if you hold Capricorn to, again, continuing to feed yourself, there won't be anything wrong with this relationship. So Capricorn, what I'm really truly getting is you may, even though this person shows you everything good because they're rushing in, they see you as like a wish fulfillment, they see you as having everything now, that you're like, well, what if they don't like me after a certain point in time? And what Spirit is saying, that's your anxiety, that's not in the moment, that's not in the now, and you're not the same person. Continue to heal. Continue to like manifest yourself. If you could do something, what would it be? The answer dwells in your heart and not in your mind. So it's again how you're giving and receiving of love. Pouring love into yourself means feeding the passions, because that's going to connect you to like-minded people. Then that person's not going to be able to treat you the same way that other relationships have treated you, and you will then be abundant, not just within your finances, Capricorn, but straight across the board. Now, if you resonate with this, because we're going to leave this here, I'm afraid to actually see how many minutes we were. Again, what it is what it is, but you'll have to leave me a like. Again, comment the word healer in your comment section and subscribe to the channel, and you can win a free psychic reading with me. And until next time, be true to you. See you guys later. Bye.